Hello, I'm Kimberlie Acosta. Welcome to the Native News Update. It's Friday, April 22nd, and many of the stories you hear here can be found at our website, IndianCountryNews.com. And here's the news for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. Federal, state, county, and tribal law enforcement officials were on the Lac Courte Oreilles Ojibwe Reservation of northern Wisconsin on April 22nd to investigate the stabbing death of one individual and the hospitalization of at least 3 others with wounds that occurred in the early morning hours in and near the community of Bacon Square on the reservation. Relatives of the victim has identified him as 20-year-old John Bodine, also known as JB, a Hayward High School graduate and football player. His younger brother Derek is currently hospitalized as well with stab wounds. 2 other LCL individuals were also reportedly transported to the hospital in the early morning hours with wounds that may have been related to the same incident. Tribal members at the ongoing spiritual encampment and vigil at the sacred burial site at Glen Cove in Vallejo, California will hold an Indigenous Peoples Earth Day and interfaith gathering on Saturday, April 23rd from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. They are inviting the general public to come to Glen Cove for this gathering that will bring together people from many faiths, cultures, and religions in the support of the struggle to protect Glen Cove from desecration and destruction. Beginning on April 14th, over 100 people occupied the site and began spiritual ceremonies to stop the planned desecration of the Glen Cove burial and shell mound site. Park officials want to add a parking lot, bathrooms, benches, and trails to the 15-acre site and say they will protect Native American remains during the $1.5 million project. The tribes say that the land is one of the last Native village sites in the San Francisco Bay Area and should be left alone. For more information, you can visit protectglencove.org. After years of fighting for it, some members of the Abenaki community have been officially recognized as tribes in Vermont. Governor Peter Shumlin signed bills April 22nd granting state recognition to the Elnu Abenaki in southern Vermont and the Nuligan Band of Coosac Abenaki Nation based in Brownington in northern Vermont. The Vermont Commission on Native American Affairs says the tribes met certain criteria documented by membership in genealogical records which show that they are descended from identified Vermont or regional Native people. It has been more than 30 years since the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the federal government illegally took the Black Hills from the Native Americans. The $110 million award to the tribes has grown through the years to nearly $1 billion, but the tribes have remained steadfast in their refusal of the money. Loretta Afraid of Bear Cook of the Black Hills Reparations Alliance said the money that they dangle in front of us like a carrot, it doesn't make sense. The Black Hills Reparations Alliance says it's never been about the money. Instead, members want the land back and more say in how the Black Hills are used. Members of the Black Hills Alliance think they should get favorable terms with the help of President Obama, who has expressed support of resolving Native American land claims. While some Native Americans favor accepting the billion-dollar settlement, the Black Hills Alliance say tribes should hold their ground and accept nothing short of the return of their sacred Black Hills. The Black Hills Alliance expects to have a mediation strategy worked out within the next couple of weeks. The Montana Military Museum at Fort Harrison in Helena, Montana is displaying the Smithsonian traveling exhibit called Native Words, Native Warriors. While many people know of the contribution of Native American code talkers during World War II, this display involves the history of the first Native Americans enlisted in the U.S. military during World War I. The traveling exhibit is on loan to the Montana Military Museum from the Montana Historical Society. The display will be there until the end of April. For more information, you can visit montanaguard.com/museum. The soon-to-be-released A Prayer Cycle Path to Zero is reaching far beyond the typical charity album boundaries in the efforts to increase awareness of the nuclear weapons in American history. To acknowledge the devastating role Native Americans had when the country first began nuclear weapons development, a prayer cycle enlisted activist and Iroquois singer Joanne Shenandoah. The Grammy-winning musician contributes to the track Path to Zero. The song also features a never-before-released poem by legendary Doors frontman Jim Morrison about the controversial use of Native American homelands as a repository for nuclear waste. A prayer cycle, Path to Zero, is a collection of music produced by the celebrated Emmy-winning composer Jonathan Elias. Other artists on the album include Sting, Sinead O'Connor, and Robert Downey Jr., among others. Proceeds from the record will be donated to Global Zero, an international organization dedicated to nuclear disarmament. For more information, you can visit shorefire.com/clients/prayer cycle. And today, the water walkers for Mother Earth are still on the road headed to northern Wisconsin for a June 12th rendezvous. According to the GPS, the Northern Walk is located in the Spokane, Washington area and is moving into Montana to connect with a large support group out of the next organizing community at Paradise, Montana. To contact anyone from that group of walkers, you can contact Daunis Kennedy at daunis.waterwalk2011@gmail.com or Cheney Bell in Paradise, Montana. The Southern Walk is moving as well, traveling north of the DeSoto National Forest on State Route 49, and this afternoon, just north of Hattiesburg, Mississippi, headed for Jackson, Mississippi on April 24th for their next organizing group center. And you can email Sharon Day at mmarieday@aol.com. Consistent with the intent of this walk, there is no retail bottled water allowed along the walking route, and the need to refill water from clean springs and taps is essential to the walkers, which is the part of the point that they're trying to make. The nation's clean water drinking supply is being diminished, and Mother Earth is crying out for help. The woman who has inspired much of this effort towards raising awareness and protecting the water is 69-year-old Josephine Mandamin from the Wicomico Unceded Indian Reserve on Manitoulin Island in Lake Huron. Today, April 22nd, is Earth Day. Earth Day is a day to bring awareness and appreciation for our nature. U.S. Senator Gaylord Nelson founded it as an environmental teach-in that was first held on April 22nd, 1970. Earth Day is now coordinated internationally and celebrated in more than 175 countries annually. Jane Fieldman, Conservation Chair of the Sierra Group in Southern Nevada, says her group spent Earth Day with a local Native American tribe, gathering letters protesting the planned expansion of a toxic coal ash landfill. It impacts the health, especially of the children with asthma, and it impacts especially the health of people who live very close to the coal plant. And those are the people of the Moapa Paiute Reservation. NV Energy contends the landfill will not have a significant impact on local water or air pollution. The Southern Nevada Health District's Board of Health is set to decide the fate of the expansion April 28th. Now, if I can throw my 2 cents in, I would have to say every day should be Earth Day. We need to cherish our Mother Earth every day. With that, I'd just like to leave you with an old Native American proverb that says, "We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children." And that's the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and have a grand day.